While I was walking down the path where I went to college years ago, I started thinking about what it's like looking at colleges today. First, you want to know, is this place going to be a good fit for me? Do they have what I want? Then you want to know, how much is it going to cost and can I afford it? Next, you want to know, can I get accepted there? And finally, what about college loans? Will I be left with a giant debt to pay off once I graduate? So I sat down with a student who graduated from Goddard College a few months ago in the spring of 2018. I wanted to know what it was like for her in answering these questions and deciding to go to Goddard College.
I'm Kaylina Mills. I'm 23 years old, and I just graduated in the spring of 2018 from Goddard College.
So there's a lot of talk these days about how expensive college is. But I understand you did something different which saved you a lot of money and fit what you wanted much better. What was that?
At Goddard, they use a low-residency model of education, so you only go to campus for the first week of each semester. And that gave me the time to work full-time while I was in school, and so I was able to pay down my debt as I went. And there's obviously privilege involved in me being able to pay down my debt as I went through school. I was able to live with my parents, and I had some financial help from them, not very much, but a little bit. And those things helped me be able to pay down my debt while I was in school. So not everyone will be able to do that, but it's still a huge advantage.
Now, wait a minute. You went to college, got a degree, and you were working full time. How did you fit all that in? I mean, most people go to college, they're at college the whole time they're there, except for the summer. How did that work?
How did I do it? I didn't sleep very much. I worked a lot. I got home from work every day and did more schoolwork, and that's basically how I did it.
So, how much money did you save? I mean, compared to doing any other option, like an online or a state school or a regular four-year college where you or take up residence there. How did that work out for you?
So it is a lot cheaper than a four-year liberal arts college like the one I transferred from. A typical four-year liberal arts private college is going to cost you $40,000 to $50,000 a year. Goddard cost me about $17,000 a year, and that's not as cheap as going to the state college in Maine, which is where I'm from. The University of Maine would have cost me about $10,000 a year, but the extra benefit of coming to a private liberal arts college was worth the extra $7,000 for me personally.
Now, if you did an online college, you'd be sitting in front of a computer screen most of the time, I guess. And if you went to a full-time four-year college, you'd be in dorms and going to classes and all that. How does this education at Goddard sounds very different from both of those alternatives? What was that like for you?
The real benefit of a Goddard education is the design your own program aspect of it. You get to create your own course of study. You get to decide what you're going to study and how you're going to study it entirely on your own. So if you have something you want to study that has nothing to do with a regular major at a typical college, you can design something that will fit your needs exactly. The other part about Goddard that's really awesome is the community that you build here and the relationships you build. And one of the most important relationships is with your faculty advisor. You have a different faculty advisor every semester, and you work one-on-one with them throughout the whole 4-month period to review your work and to deepen your learning and to encourage your growth as a student and as a member of society. So in the low residency model, you're only on campus for 1 week at the beginning of each semester. And in this week, you are going to workshops and you're meeting people who are doing this kind of crazy, different, radical kind of education with you, and they're all studying the coolest things, and they think that what you're studying is the coolest thing. And it's kind of like summer camp for adults. And bonding as a community in that way is something that an online college cannot give you.
So you really took the initiative to create your entire own degree, essentially. But what if you come here and you're not quite prepared to do that? Are there other sort of like prepackaged degrees that you can get? Can you give me an idea what some of those might be?
Sure. There are several degree programs at Goddard that are not completely individualized. There's Bachelor of Fine Arts in Creative Writing, a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Socially Engaged Art. They have a bunch of master's programs in psychology and education, in those sorts of things. We have a sustainability program. There are so many things that you can do at Goddard that are more prepackaged. It's still largely designed by you and your interests, but there are more guides and there's more direction as to what you're going to study than the individualized bachelor or master's.
So what kind of is there like a class standing? Do you have grades? Do you have a grade point average? Do you take exams? I mean, there's a lot of that stuff in conventional colleges. What's that like here?
So there aren't grades at Goddard. All your courses that you design are taken pass-fail. And so the way that's determined is through your study plan, which you create during that first week when you're on campus with your advisor. And it says what you're going to study and how you're going to demonstrate your learning. And you and your advisor will agree to your study plan before you leave, and that serves as kind of your contract with the school. And so if you do all the things that you outlined in your contract, your advisor should pass you because they've already agreed that that would be enough to meet credit requirements. And there are no tests or anything like that at Goddard because you're designing your whole program and what you're going to study and how you're going to study it. You could theoretically create tests for yourself, but they are not mandated by the school.
So you mentioned that you went somewhere else first to college out of high school, and then you came here. And I'm wondering, how can you compare how it felt to be at that other school versus here? How did you feel once you got here, once you made the decision to come to Goddard and study here and get your degree here?
When I came to Goddard, it felt like I had finally found my people. It felt like the right place. Everyone was very supportive of me and my needs and what I needed as a learner and what I wanted to do with my life. Everyone was just so encouraging, and I felt like I was at home, which is not a feeling I had had in high school or at my first college that I attended. And so it didn't feel like me versus the institution. It felt like I was part of this community and that I was welcome here.
Wow, that sounds really good. I'm really glad I asked you these questions, and it sounds like you had a great time here, and you've got your degree, and and I've certainly learned a lot about what you went through, and maybe other people will too. So thanks for discussing it with me.
Well, thank you for asking me. I love talking about Goddard with whoever will listen to me, so I really appreciate it.